Hi, I'm just back from seeing Morbius, the latest not MCU related Marvel Comics movie. Um, Sony has been making a whole string of films based on Spider Man adjacent characters, um, or at least is attempting to. We've had two films with Venom. We have Morbius here, based on the recurring Spider Man villain Morbius, the living vampire. We have Craven the Hunter coming up next year, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think they've got a couple of others coming up the pipe. Um, the Venom movies did not get good reviews, but I quite enjoyed them. And on their own terms, they're actually good fun. The second one, notably, was very short. It was tight and focused, entertaining, got in, got out, great. Morbius, however, is a stinker. Um, it stars Jared Leto, who could not look less interested, playing Michael Morbius, who is a archetypal crippled genius. He has some unexplained medical condition, which means that he has to walk with crutches, and he's very physically weak and frail, and you can see veins all over his back when he takes his shirt off, and it's all very vague and undefined. And he's investigating, and by the time the film starts, he's invented artificial blood and been awarded the Nobel Prize for, which he's then refused for reasons that I can't even bother remembering. So we've already established that he is a genius, that he is a pain in the arse, and that we've already completely changed the game regarding the setting of this movie, because with the Marvel universe, it's a world where we've had alien invasions, and we've had gods coming down to Earth, and this is common knowledge. But this movie just says, "Oh yeah, there's artificial blood." Yeah, and it's blue as well. Um, but Michael is dying. He was he I could barely. I watched the film 3 hours ago, and it's just sliding off my brain like a Teflon saucepan. Um, and he winds up turning himself into a vampire because he splices himself with vampire bat DNA because they've got non-coagulants in their saliva, because coagulation is a problem with him. Maybe his blood vessels keep breaking. I don't know. It's never explained. But he also has a childhood friend from the hospital he lived in as a child, who he nicknamed Milo, who as a grown-up is played by Matt Smith, who delivers the one interesting performance in the movie because his character is so boring and so flatly written, and Smith has just looked at it and thought, I can just go to town with this. And so he's just doctoring it up all the way through, and he's quite entertaining to watch. It doesn't make up for how terrible the rest of the movie is. And Milo wants the secret, but because Michael is a vampire and has to feed on blood, and the artificial blood is working uh, less and less in staving off his hunger for real blood. They keep calling it red and blue rather than just blood. I don't know. He wants that, and Michael says no because it doesn't want to be a monster. And so there's a conflict there, and Jared Harris is also in it as a surrogate father who was doctored to both of them as a child when they were in a children's hospital in Greece. Um, this film feels like it's had at least half an hour cut out of including all the credits and two um, post-credit scenes, which tie it into the MCU but make absolutely no sense at all. Um, Actually, thinking about it, I think one of them actually does, but not really. I think this person who wrote it thinks it makes sense. See if you can work out which one it is when you watch it, but don't. Um, it feels like it's had like a lot cut out, including credits. It runs an hour and 44 minutes. It needs to be a lot longer because there is so much just skated past. There is so much just breezed through. Yeah, artificial blood. Yeah, a vampire suddenly. It's directed by Daniel Espinosa, who's not really done anything of particular note to date. He has a lot of aerial shots of New York. It was filmed in London, and it really looks like London. There's a sequence as a fight sequence set in a New York subway station. It's very obviously Charing Cross Tube Station. They've just slapped up a few stickers with New York stuff on. It's terrible. There's a CGI subway train that goes by because subway trains in New York look nothing like tube trains. Um, but we have this red added to these aerial establishing shots. I think, oh yeah, because blood, because this is about a vampire. I almost forgot. Thank you for reminding me. It's it's incoherent. It makes almost no sense on any logical level. Jared Leto is just a big fat nothing. He's clearly someone's told him, "Oh yes, if you do a Marvel type movie or a superhero movie, then you get to make a lot of money." And he is sleepwalking through it. He couldn't care less. It's incredibly lazy and boring to watch. Matt Smith is the only bright spot in the whole movie. The direction is sloppy and lazy. A lot of the so there's some night scenes where you can't even see what's going on properly because it's so badly shot and badly edited. The editing is also very bad. It really is an absolute mess. The idea that by introducing all these characters, they're going to build towards some kind of Sinister Six movie where various characters form villains form an alliance to take on Spider-Man. Firstly, I don't know how that's going to work with them not being able to use Spider-Man, or at least the Peter Parker iteration. Secondly, we've only had two, and so far one of them's been shit. Um, Tom Hardy works as Venom, but Venom in this context is actually a hero. He's an anti hero, but still a hero. Morbius is a vampire who is going to have to kill people to stay alive. So how's that going to work? So is this a villain origin story? But he's never villainous. He's taking on someone who wants to be evil, but it doesn't make any sense. It's just a pointless mess of a movie. There's no reason for this to exist. It's not entertaining. It's quite badly made. The music's also terrible because it continually rips off Hans Zimmer's theme for Batman, his the two-note Batman theme that Hans Zimmer wrote, and also the end credits music sounds a lot like the theme from The Walking Dead. It's just cheap and shoddy and thrown together by people who are just after the money. Matt Smith needs to do a lot better than this. I think he needs to fire his agent because he's really the only bright spot in the movie. Can't go and see this.